Yeah, welcome you all. I think this is the fifth day of our session, isn't it? Foundation course, the orientation course has been going on, I think. There's been already 4 days of classes that has been given to you. And almost whatever is needed for you to understand the scope of this examination, what is needed to crack the examination, Sivaraj sir, Sadiq sir, and also Suresh sir have spoken at length about this. So today I don't have anything to talk more about the scope of the examination or the nature of the examination. I hope if you are watching this video for the first time, I insist that you go and watch the previous videos as well, so that you are able to know what the exam is about. Because the first step towards addressing or the first step towards cracking this examination is to know what this examination is all about. Right. So with this note, I will straight away go into what my area of expertise is. I will be handling economics for you. Okay. So as you have seen yesterday, I think sir had given out a detailed chart of what the syllabus is, what are the subjects that is of very much importance for our preparation, all that he has spoken of. In GS1 or let's say in preliminary examination, we know what are the main subjects, of which economic and social development is one of the syllabus lines that they have given. Economic and social development. So this can be interpreted as the economics that we are going to study about. And apart from this, economics has another scope in mains, GS3. In GS3, it covers nearly half of the syllabus. So very, very important, because GS3 is going to have a very great weightage that has been assigned to economics. And what is the scope of this economics in GS3? The syllabus is quite vast. I don't want to burden you this day itself about what are the syllabus. As the course is proceeding, what I've planned is I will take one particular topic, one particular syllabus line, and every day that we meet through this online medium, at least for the first foundation class, which is going to take place from now, I will elaborate on one line of the syllabus which is from economics, so that you can know what are the areas in which the UPSC is giving importance to, and also you will be familiar with the previous year questions and prepare accordingly. Right, so that is what we are going to do for mains. And for prelims, what we are going to do for prelims, see, I think yesterday sir spoke about how UPSC will be asking questions. It will be a direct one-liner question. It will be saying this leads to this, and we'll be giving options A, B, C, and D. You have to choose. But most of the questions will be in the nature of 2 statements or 3 statements. And for economics, one has to be very clear in his concept, because there are many questions that the UPSC is asking, which is not going to test your factual strength. It's just going to make sure that you have understood the concept very clearly. So something which is around us, something which is very important for us, but we will never notice, those kind of questions they will be asking. Right? So you may be knowing what is inflation. For example, let's say from economics, there's going to be a concept about inflation, and there's going to be a question about inflation. One, it could be direct. If this is happening, what kind of inflation is this? But most of the questions, if you ask, if you see, how they will be framing the question is, when this is happening, what will happen to inflation? Or they will be giving 3 statements, saying this is the statement number 1, statement number 2, statement number 3. Which of the following can lead to increase in inflation? You have to choose. You will not know whether increase in interest rates will increase inflation or not. So these are the type of questions which has been recurring in UPSC examination. That's why we have to be a little bit clear on economic concepts. One, the problem that many of the aspirants face when it comes to economics is that right from it's due to our upbringing, especially Tamil Nadu, we have never been told to give importance to social studies at all, isn't it? Economics or பாடமே கிடையாது நம்மளுக்கு. And so we have also completely forgotten what economics is about. So many will be going through their graduation in different streams. So economics என்றது அவங்களுக்கு it's like Greek and Latin for them. Completely unknown concept மாதிரி பேசிட்டு இருப்பாங்க. But this is not actually true, friends. This could be a very easy chapter and very easy subject if we go in the right step. So my work in assisting you through this entire duration will be trying to plug in the gaps that you have or face in understanding certain economic concepts. So conceptually, you should be strong, and that is where I will be trying to put my best efforts towards you. Right. So I've given you a brief overview of how questions will be asked, what is important, and also stated that I'll be handling economics for you. Now, about the subject. See, economics is a discipline that all of us know. We know that it is some subject like history, geography, and all. And when it comes to economics, when I immediately ask what economics is all about, we will be thinking of graphs, we'll be thinking of numbers, as though it is something vague for us. No, it's a very interesting subject. It is a part of our daily life. And UPSC also doesn't want us to focus on the discipline of economics. Rather, it wants us to focus on the practical side of economics, that is economy. So we are not going to deal about what economics is, what the subject of economics is about, how to demand supply on a relation, what is the graph between them. These are not our areas of concern. What we have to know or understand is how practically economic principles are taking place. And economy is the practical space that we should know. So if you see the entire weightage that has been given, or the subject that has been allotted to us is not about economics, it is about Indian economy. Indian economy, the areas which is going to affect us, and what is going to increase or enhance our economic interests. That is what we are going to understand. Clear? So idu romba teliva iruknom. We should know that we are not going to read a lot about economics. Rather, we are going to confine ourselves with just the understanding of economy. Clear? Ipo, what is economy? Abdin paakradhukku munadi, there are different types of economy. For example, if you take Tamil Nadu itself is an economy. India is an economy. So India, if we are going to apply the principles of economics and we are going to know what is happening in India, that's called Indian economy. Likewise, global economy is taking place. If you are able to know that economic activity is taking place through digital means, that is the space of digital economy. So what is this we are going to speak of? So today I will be speaking about a brief introduction about how this discipline emerged, or what we should be focusing about. And also in the course of my discussion with you, I'll be touching upon certain economic principles and how we should apply them in our own preparation as well. Right? So one, what is this economic about? Economics and subject பத்தி பேசணும்னு சொன்னா, what is this about? Is it about money? Is it about just numbers? Is it about some values? No. Economics is the science of scarcity. The science of knowing how we can mobilize resources, how we can do so much while we have little. Humans are always capable of doing this. Isn't it? Are we not resourceful? So this is a time of COVID where nobody has to come together. There has to be maintained social distancing, but I'm reaching out to you. How? Through this platform. If there was no digital communications platform, how can I reach out to you? So this is one of the way in which we are addressing our concerns. There is a limitation. There is a scarcity of resources here, but still we are able to meet what we need. How are we doing this? How we can improve our capacity? This is what economics is concerned about. அப்போ இந்த எக்கனாமிக்ஸ்ன்றது is all about knowing our wants. So every human being is going to have some kind of want. ஒரு தேவைன்றது அவருக்கு இருக்கும். But wants are completely unlimited. There is no cap to your want. Once your basic set of necessities or wants are fulfilled, like your food, shelter, clothing, etc., it will not just end with that. You will now feel, okay, let me do this. After fulfilling the next set of wants, you will again want to go. And wants will be increasing every day, right from the day of your birth till the day of your death. So if this is the case, if wants are increasing, with what will you fulfill those wants? You need resources, isn't it? You need resources to fulfill those wants. But when we come to resources, this is completely limited. Here wants are unlimited. So wants are unlimited while resources are limited. Wants cannot happen without resources. But when the nature of want is unlimited, while the nature of resources is limited, how are we going to bridge these two contradictory terms? This is what economics is all about, right? The discipline of economics tries to understand this kind of contradiction. How are we going to address this? How have societies addressed this? Can we develop more on this? This is what we are going to do, right? So basically, it is not just about money, it's not about numbers, it is about how we are fulfilling our wants. So when there is a want, you will attach value to it, my dear friends. There will be a concept of something called as value. So what is value? You will value something based on the depth of your want. Food is something very important. So you definitely need that. Clothes, if you have one or two clothes, maybe that is necessary for keeping you alive for 1 year. But if you don't have any food, it's impossible to keep yourself alive. So based on that, how grave your need is, you will attach value to that. So இதுக்காக எனக்கு value. So my valuation for this will be higher, my valuation for this will be lower. So this is on the basic common sense level. But as economies have expanded, we have been assigning value to different things in a different way. Right, today, if you see, if you ask a person, what do you value? Food or your telephone? Because we know, we are rest assured that we are definitely going to have food, we will always be valuing your telephones or your mobile phones more than our food. But once you don't have any food, you will no longer value your telephone. Right? So when you value something, every person across our batch is going to value different things in a different way based on how much he requires that product. ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் அதிகமாக தேவைப்படுதுன்னா he is going to definitely value it more. But on the seller side, if there is one who is going to sell it, he will value it differently. He will not value it based on his need. He will assess your need, your want, and accordingly he will be trying to sell his product. But his valuation and your valuation is what is going to determine the price of a product. So price is a number. This number is emerging because of valuation. You and I are valuing certain things. You and I are going to value this whole course. Just if you ask somebody else to watch this video, he is not going to get benefit out of it. But you are valuing this UPSC. You want to become an IAS officer. You want to become an IPS officer. That's why you are valuing this duration. You are sitting through this 1 year, 1 hour of discussion, even though it might be boring. But still you are sitting because you tend to value it based on your need. So a value on vandutale, there will be a number coming to it. But how are we arriving at that number? Today, see, you are valuing a product, I am valuing a product, and upon all of that, we have a number called as money, isn't it? The money in the we are able to simplify the value, the number of value. Likewise, societies have been valuing in a different way many commodities and how this valuation is taking place, how people are valuing things. This is what economics is trying to understand. So clear, the first thing that we saw is economics is going to know what wants are. How are we going to meet our unlimited wants through limited resources? The second question came in the form of how are we going to value things? If everybody is going to value different things, how are we going to come together on a common platform? So money is something that binds us together. It is going to give you how the value, the exact number of how much you value different things. So idella some concepts that economics is trying to understand. But beneath all of this, what is important? Human activity, human aspiration to do something is hidden in this interaction. Without humans, you can have no economics at all. So human beings are economic beings. As we know, as to the extent of we being social beings, we are all economic beings. The moment that you feel that you have a need and you try to address those needs, that is the first economic activity. Right? In the Madri, over point of time, whenever we have wants, we are going to address them, and the whole world is addressing it. We are going to try to bring about principles. If at all there is going to be a problem, economics is going to try to solve that problem and going to say, if you do this, you can address this problem. This is economics idea. Clear? So in the duration, before going into, I want to share with you today the story of one of the founding fathers of economics and also how economics came into place. Here we are going to discuss today, but before going into that, I want to just show you I'm just going to explain certain things, and through that I'm going to show how the duration of the course is planned for you. So when I'm continuing with you, I will have divided the entire course of economics for you into a 6 theme, into 6 themes of economics. And what are the 6 themes? The first theme will be, the first step towards this will be reading your NCERT. So NCERT is the first theme. The remaining 5 themes enna? Why is that important? Idukkaga, I'm going to read out certain things that happen in the context of the COVID. Right? Sila economica, now very plain statement. It's not something very hard for you to understand and all. Something which has happened over the last 2 months, I'm going to read out. I'm going to just give you a small kind of analysis. and we are going to try to destructure it. We are going to parse it down, and we are going to understand how the other remaining themes are. So we know that in the context of COVID, a national lockdown was put in place. So due to this national lockdown, all economic activity had come to a screeching halt. To what extent the slowdown has come, we don't know, because we don't have the figures as of now. But in a few moments of time, in a few days or months, we will be actually be able to know what is the gravity of the slowdown. எந்த அளவுக்கு slowdown ஆயிருக்கும்னு நம்மளுக்கு தெரியும். And because of a slowdown, because of a lockdown, and because of restrictions on the movement of vehicles and goods, the government felt that there is going to be some supply side congestions. In order to decongest this supply side constraints, the government took efforts to ensure that goods had been moving across all of India in a seamless manner. And also, in order to protect the price of certain products, it said that I am going to identify certain things as essential commodities. For example, everybody is now forced to wear a mask. Everybody has to rub his hands with a sanitizer. So if this is the case, sanitizers are very low, they are going to sell it at a huge price. So prices are going to skyrocket. In order to protect the prices from going up, what did it do? It put those products under something called as the essential commodities. And it said, you cannot sell 50 milliliter of sanitizer for more than 25 rupees. You cannot sell a piece of 2-ply cloth or 3-ply cloth for more than 10 rupees. So these are certain areas in which the government intervened to ensure that during this lockdown, prices are not increasing. As far as other essential commodities are concerned, be it our vegetables, food, or other products, the government made sure that there is enough supply. So when there is enough supply to meet the demand, the prices will not be fluctuating, the prices will be remaining stagnant. But how far has it been realized? That is altogether another discussion. And thirdly, what did the RBI do? RBI was also undertaking certain measures to ensure that there was enough liquidity with banks. See, I'm not trying to make sure that you understand what I'm speaking. Just listen carefully. RBI has ensured that there is enough liquidity with the banks. It has lowered its interest rate, it's trying to push more money into the banks so that banks will be having enough money to lend it to important segments of the economy. So this is the thing which the RBI has been doing. Finally, fourthly, if you see, the government also has been taking steps. What kind of steps? If you have been aware in the last few weeks, the government has been talking about 10% of GDP. 10% of GDP நாங்க கொடுக்க போறோம். எப்படி கொடுப்பீங்க? What is that number? How am I going to restructure the entire economy? So these are the ways in which the government is trying to bring more money into the people's hand, and that is called as fiscal stimulus. But the government itself is not having enough resources to give as much money as it wants to its people. And so if we say, one classic example is the issue of TASMAC in Tamil Nadu. Right? The government wants to open it anyhow, and it says that I don't have any revenue. Why is the government earning revenue out of alcohol? Where a resource illaya adukku. Right? In the my questions could have come in your head. And finally, there has been even people talking about how this has also given India a unique opportunity of attracting firms which are exiting China. So when people who have been manufacturing conventionally in China are exiting their business, India has an opportunity of opening up its space and attract those companies so that they can manufacture here. So when they are manufacturing here, our manufacturing exports will go up. So these are some areas I think you should be familiar about in the context of COVID-19. So whatever I spoken now, this is what the entire duration of economics for you will also be. The first thing I spoke about, how there has been a slowdown, isn't it? இது எப்படி அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்றது? So what is slowdown? How do we measure what a slowdown is? So this is our first theme, growth. Growth is our first theme. இது அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்றதுக்கு ஜிடிபின்ற ஒரு கான்செப்ட். Why do we need GDP at all? The second thing that I spoke of in the context of COVID-19 was how the government was taking enough measures to control the prices of commodities. So prices. This is our second pillar or second theme. I've said that there is going to be 6 themes in which we are going to divide the entire course for the 1 year duration. Third will be about what we spoke of, RBI. What is the RBI doing? So RBI is doing some certain things so that banks are having money. Banks need to have money so that they are able to give people money when they are coming and asking for loans. So financial intermediaries, money is very important. Money and financial intermediaries. This will be our third area of discussion, broadly speaking. And fourthly, we spoke of what the government is trying to do. When the government is going to spend money, it is financing itself out of certain resources that it has generated. டாஸ்மாக்ல கூட ஜெனரேட் பண்றாங்க. ஏன் டாஸ்மாக்ல ஜெனரேட் பண்ணும்? Is it not having any other idea? So what are the constraints that it is facing? If it has to spend more, it also needs to earn more. What are the ways of earning? So this is something that we will be studying in the broad theme of something called as public finance. What is? How the government is managing its finances. Finally, we spoke about how India can be a manufacturing hub by capitalizing on this situation where many companies are showing willingness to exit China. So when they are going to manufacture here, we have the opportunity of becoming an export hub. So when we are becoming exporters, we are interlinked to the world. How are we interlinked to the world? What are the dimensions of economics when it comes beyond the borders of India? So that is our external sector. So these are the every theme. Remember, detailed we will speak of. Don't worry. Right? About growth we will be speaking of. About prices we will be speaking of. So whatever. So in the context of COVID, I read out certain statements which the government has been doing or which has been found in the news. To understand what actually is happening, you need to know all these 5 themes. இதில் உள்ள ஒவ்வொரு டீட்டெயிலும் என்னன்னு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும். That I will be helping you. Clear? So very as recently possible, we will be focusing on the first theme, which is NCERT. And after that, after completing NCERT, if things transpire out to be well, and if you are able to meet in person, or if things continue like this, we will be continuing with our core. So this is the core. This is the core discussion or the core thing. This is about the foundation. Clear? So this is how I've given out a rough blueprint or a chart of how we will be taking things forward. Right? I agree that it will be somewhat difficult for us to make sense of what is happening. Na money inranga, liquidity inranga, RBI no pandranga. It will be very hard for us. But you have to sit through. You have to sit through the entire course, entire duration. And after that, my intention is to make you have an economic sense of the world, economic sense of what is happening around India. என்ன நடக்குதுன்னு ப்ராக்டிக்கலாக தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும், அவ்வளோதான். right? No need to become experts in economics. We just have to know what is happening, why is happening, why is it happening in such a way. So this is our intention, this is my intention for you. So if you continue with me, when you continue with me, you will seriously see some progress in your understanding level. Clear? So I've given you a blueprint, I've given you what economics is all about. Now coming to my second area, the second part of the discussion, we are going to study about how economics developed. The economics எப்படி develop ஆச்சு, or we can broadly see that economics as a subject is going to deal with microeconomics, macroeconomics எல்லாம் நிறையா. You'll learn about that later. Today, how economics came into the world. So what are the circumstances that led to the growth of economics? இது நம்ம பார்க்க போறோம். Right. So first, 1492, what happened? Columbus discovers America. With what intention did he go for? Set his journey to find a route to India. He could not do that. In 1498, what happened? Vasco da Gama finds a sea route to India. And after that, we know, once the sea route was established, once Vasco da Gama found that there is a sea route from Europe to India, there has been a huge number of activities taking place between Europe, India, and the eastern, whatever country lies to the east of Europe. But accidental discovery of America by whom? Columbus also led to some other new adventurers seeking enterprise or seeking new prospects in America. So this has been taking place parallelly. So if you see the years, around 15th century, around the end of the 15th century and also in the 16th century, you will be reading in your history as well that many of the companies started to emerge. Companies whose sole motive was to come and trade in India, trade in other parts of the world. So why suddenly people are all obsessed with trading? Why? Obviously, everybody's understanding is to earn income. Everybody's thinking will be to earn income. So I need more income. What is the way of earning more income? To go find a new way to India, take the products of India and sell it here. So taking the products away from another country, taking the products from other places, going and finding gold in other parts of the world. This is where people were suddenly interested about. And you know, after this, the Portuguese came, then the Dutch East India Company, the English East India Company, the Danish Company, the French Company, almost all of the European powers were given permission by the monarchies or the government to open up trading companies. The trading companies are Velena, they have to journey all the way to India, take those products, buy it at a cheaper rate, sell it in their own places, earn profit. And one, if you do not have the backing of the government, you have to legitimately do this business because you have to take a product, sell it, varumanam mattumda varum. But if you are the government itself, you will go forcibly take the products of others without even paying. This is where the process of colonialism started. Right? So trading companies paved way for colonialism, isn't it? Did the East India Company come into India with the sole motive of capturing power in India? No. They had other interests. Their primary interest was to earn profits. But slowly, when The governments felt that this is going to give us enormous benefits. They felt, okay, we should go appropriate a particular country, conquer it and rule it, and take away as much gold, as much treasure as it is having. So most of the companies were now, most of the countries in Europe which were trying to become superpowers in those days were competing with each other and saying, let us see who is going to conquer more lands. So India was conquered by England. France was also conquering other lands. Spain was trying to conquer Latin America and other places. England was also setting its eye on America. ஸோ இவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் போட்டி, யார் அதிகமான லேண்ட் வச்சிருக்காங்களோ அவங்க தான் சூப்பர் பவர். ஸோ வாட் incentivized or what went into the head of these people who were around these years? They felt that a nation's power lies in its capacity to conquer other lands, lies in its power to trade more things, lies in its power to capture gold. So gold and other commodities, taking away commodities from other areas. This was called, or this was associated with something called as wealth. Clear? This was associated with something called as wealth. When you see, what is your idea of wealth? See, everybody wants to increase wealth. Today we are sitting in the 21st century and we know that our concept of wealth is money. So if money increases, our wealth is going to increase. So whatever is valuable in terms of money, we will be trying to increase it. We'll be trying to increase our income. But in those days, they were only trying to increase gold and other commodities from elsewhere. So this was the concept of wealth. So I am going to increase my wealth. It means that I have to go in search of gold. I would go in search of other commodities. This idea, this is an ideology, dear friends. This is an ideology. இந்த ஐடியாலஜிக்கு ஒரு பேர் இருக்கு, கொஞ்சம் கன்ஃபியூசிங்கா இருக்க மாதிரி இருக்கலாம். இந்த ஐடியாலஜி where people are obsessed with creating wealth in terms of gold and other commodities is called as mercantilism. What is it called? Mercantile. See, these are new terms. உடனே புதுசா நிறைய பேசுறாங்க, ஐயோ வேணாம் அப்படின்னு யோசிக்க கூடாது. Only when you increase your vocabulary, only when you increase your knowledge about different ideas, different words, you'll be able to incorporate certain things in your answer writing, into your realm of knowledge as well. So mercantile system இதுதான், the idea of wealth being associated or being equated in the terms of gold and commodities. அதாவது mercant means merchant activities is what is equal to wealth அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிற ஒரு கான்செப்ட். Is this concept right or wrong? The concept itself seems to be right, but it is this idea of mercantilism which led to unnecessary colonialization. என்னோட வெல்த் இன்னொருத்தனோட கோல்ட்ல தான் இருக்குன்னு சொன்னா, I will go and capture that gold, and for that I have to capture that country. So this kind of economic thinking, என்னோட வெல்த் இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்றதுக்காக I should go and capture gold. So mercantilism is what led to colonialism. So this was the state of affairs in Europe. So around 1770s என்றப்போ, that is where many of the merchant companies in India, in 1773 தான் first the Charter Act ன்னு சொல்லி, you will be studying history as well. That is where the first step towards making the company into a political organ happened. right? So in the mari systems 1717 nearly from 1500s to 1750s, nearly 250 years, the world has experimented with something called as mercantilism and its twin brother called as colonialism, right? So what had it contributed to the world? Nothing. Clearly, it had not contributed in any sense to the world, because your idea of what wealth is wrong. Yaar sonnadu? 250 years later, in 1776, one of the most important years for economics. Economics and discipline varradhukku very important is the 1776. There is a person called as Adam Smith, a Scottish-based philosopher who wrote a book called as Inquiry, a general inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth. A general inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth. So this idea, so what is he speaking of? He's saying wealth na enna? What is the nature of wealth? And what can cause wealth to increase in a particular country? He's writing a whole book, and this book, An Inquiry into the Nature and Cause of Wealth, is termed as one of the most seminal and most important books for economics. Because until then, economics as a separate discipline did not emerge. It was only after this book that people began to search into a new discipline called as economics. அப்படி என்னதான் சொல்லிட்டாரு இதுல? So this is a 3-volume book, பெரிய book. We are not going to discuss the entire contents of this book. Rather, we are going to just confine ourselves or limit ourselves with the core ideology or the basic principles of what he said. இப்போ என்ன சொன்னாரு? First concept is the rational self. I think the third session or something, when Suresh sir came, I heard him speak about how choices are rational, isn't it? He speak about how choices are rational, how people will be making rational choices. Likewise, in 1776, in his book, he finds that every human being is inherently rational. They are not inherently stupid. That we can argue nowadays, because many 2K kids are stupids. Anyhow, just a joke. Rational self. Rational self, everybody is rational. It means that economic activity takes place because everybody will be taking an action according to his own needs. He specifically knows what his need is, and that's why he will be rational in his decisions. And because the self is rational, he will be taking decisions that is suited to his own interest. இதை மட்டும் சொல்லல, he is saying that economic principles stand on this concept, this infallible concept of men being rational, and you should not tinker with his rational decision. Everybody is rational. Don't try to manipulate his rationality. நீ ஒண்ணுமே பண்ணலனாலே economic activity will take place, is what he is trying to argue in his book. அப்படி என்ன ஆர்கியூ பண்ணாரு? I just want to read out a quote, a very famous quote of his. He says that it is not due to the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker. Both, all of these agents, the brewer is one who supplies wines, the butcher is one who is going to give you meat, the baker is the one who is going to give you bread. These people don't provide you what you need based on their benevolence. It is not due to their benevolence that you have this food on your table. Rather, it is due to their self-seeking interest. It is only due to their self-seeking. A shopkeeper is selling you products. Why? Because he needs profit. He will not think that you need that product. That's why he's going to sell. No. He needs income. That's why he's selling this product. So everybody is guided by this inherent thought called as rational self. So when you don't, it is not due to benevolence. யாரும் தாராள மனசோட யாருமே இங்க இல்லை. அவங்க வந்து உங்களுக்கு ஒரு பொருள் கொடுக்குறாங்கன்னா கண்டிப்பா அது அவங்க சுயமா they have their own self-interest. That's why they are providing you these products. But while giving you this product, என்ன மாதிரி கொடுப்பாங்கன்னா they will be giving you in such a way as though it is for your need and not their necessity. You போய் கடையில் வாங்குறீங்க, take this pen and you go and ask for this pen. This pen is 10 rupees. But he will give you another pen worth 20 rupees and he will be saying 20 rupees if you buy. 20 ரூபாய்க்கு வாங்கினீங்கன்னா சூப்பராக எழுதும் பேனா, எல்லாம் ஒரே மாதிரி தான் எழுதும். பட் he will be saying சூப்பராக எழுதும் பேனா, ரொம்ப நாள் உழைக்கும், இங்கெல்லாம் எதுவும் கசியாது. So this is how he will be saying. You see the entire argument. This pen is durable. This pen is more superior. This pen will be long lasting. It is also very crisp in writing. இதெல்லாம் என்ன? He is selling his product as though his only intention is to give us good. நம்ம நல்லதுக்காகவே எல்லாம் பண்ற மாதிரி செல் பண்ணுவார். But is that true? Even though on the conversation side it may seem as though he is looking for our benefit, the truth is 10 ரூபா பேனா கொடுத்தா எனக்கு 2 ரூபா தான் லாபம். 20 rupees pen if I am selling, I will earn a profit of 4 rupees. So let me sell. Is this wrong? Right? If you take the moral aspect of selfishness and see, எவ்வளவு செல்ஃபிஷா நடந்துக்கிறாரு பாரு. Or we can speak about that like that. But he is saying, Adam Smith is saying, economic activity is taking place because everybody is selfish. If everybody was very magnanimous, very generous, there will be no activity taking place at all. There will be only distribution. Production irukadன்றார். So in the selfishness promote பண்ணுங்கன்றார். He is saying you should promote this selfishness. Everybody should be made selfish. But there is a question, if everybody is selfish, everybody is only going and looking after his own self-interest, what will happen if others are in an unequal position? If there is an unequal position, what will happen? For example, you go to a place and you ask for a pen and there is no other pen shop, but you desperately need a pen and he is going to say 10 rupees. Then very next day you go and ask for another pen. If he is saying 20 rupees, what will you do? No alternative at all, let's say. He is just saying 20 rupees. என்ன பண்றது? வாங்கி தான் ஆகணும். அப்ப if everybody is selfish, he can sell it at any price and that will affect others also. And that is where he is saying you should allow competition. இங்க ஒரே ஒரு கடை இருந்தாலும் he can sell it at 10 rupees, 20 rupees. If there are 3 pen shops and if there is one seller who is saying மத்தவன் எனக்கு மட்டும் லாபம் வேணும்னு நினைக்கிறாரு, so he is saying instead of 10 rupees I am going to sell it at 20 ன்னு சொன்னா, a person will go to that person and ask for pen. If he is saying 20, he will immediately go to the next person and he will be taking their pen. அப்ப என்ன பண்ணுவாரு? 20 rupees செல் பண்ண முடியாது. He will have to sell it for 12 rupees. So everybody is having a selfish interest, but it will not hurt others' interest as long as there is enough competition. Enough competition. இந்த காம்படிஷன்றது எப்படி வரும்? இந்த காம்படிஷன் தான் is not allowing rational self or selfish manோட evil side ஒன்று இருக்கும்ல, the evil side of selfish man, அது வெளியே வராம பார்த்துக்கிறது யாரு? This competition சொல்லக்கூடிய invisible hand ன்னு சொல்றாரு. invisible hand. So if this invisible hand is there, invisible hand na enna sonna, it is mainly one, forces of demand and supply. Forces of demand and supply. அப்ப demand இருக்கு, supply அதிகமா இருக்குல்ல, ஒரு ஏரியால there is so much of supply around, and that's why he is not able to sell it at the higher price of say 20. If there was no supply at all, he can just sell. This selfishness will express its evil side. So demand and supply should be enough as much as possible. So only when you don't manipulate demand, only when you don't allow supply to come down, you can enable rational self to always show its positive side. And this invisible hand will always operate among the people because everybody is rational and selfish. And lastly, he says, if these are cardinal principles of any economic activity. Without these two, economic activity is sure to fail, is what he says. இது ரெண்டையுமே காப்பாற்றணும்னு சொன்னா, if you need invisible hand to play, an invisible hand of demand and supply, if that has to always suppress this rational self, you should have something called as laissez-faire. அப்படின்னு சொல்றாரு. What is this laissez-faire? Let it be ன்னு அர்த்தம். Let it be. This is a French word which means let it be. Laissez-faire means let it be. Let it be னா இது ரெண்டையும் ஒண்ணுமே பண்ணாதீங்கன்னு அர்த்தம். எதுவுமே பண்ணாதீங்க. Don't touch these two. This is what it means. But he is advocating a completely different, a radical approach to what is wealth. A wealth for a country will increase only when rational self is allowed to express to its fullest extent. When invisible hand is fully expressed, which means everybody should be able to do whatever they like. The government should not interfere and let it be. The government எந்த மாதிரி principles follow பண்ணும், let it be சொல்லணும். சும்மா உள்ள வந்து நான் இதை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணு, நீ இதை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ண, இந்த மாதிரி சொல்ற வேலையை வச்சுக்க கூடாது. So when this is happening, this only will increase wealth. Wealth will now be increased because everybody at the individual level is completely free to do what? To seek his own interest. எனக்கு தேவை ப்ராஃபிட், அதை நான் அடைஞ்சுக்கிறேன், அவ்வளோதான். இதுக்கு கவர்மெண்ட்டும் யாரும் nobody is going to close me. But see, this doesn't mean that you can use unethical means. அப்படி இல்லை. He is not promoting that you can be as much as evil as possible. He is saying, defined to the law, within the boundaries of law, you can make money as long as it is legitimate. Through legitimate means, you can make as much money as possible. So let it be. அப்ப இது என்னப்பா? What kind of a model is he advocating? He is advocating a free market model. Free market. The market ன்றது என்ன? Market is the place where the demands, the invisible hand will be playing. Invisible hand ன்றது demandோ சப்ளையோ இந்த மாதிரியான நம்மளுக்கு கண்ணுக்கு தெரியாத forces around this market. They should be completely free. Free from what? Free from government's intervention. So when you allow a free market, this will lead to what? What is this book about? Wealth. This will create wealth for this nation. And wealth for the nation is not just in gold. It is not just in going and appropriating someone else's property. Property la கிடையாது wealth. It is not in gold. அதெல்லாம் அசெட், அது வெல்த்தே கிடையாதுன்றாரு. வெல்த்ன்றது only when everybody is increasing his own income. அப்ப see how he's completely turning around the concept of wealth. இவ்வளவு நாள் இதான் வெல்த், பில்டிங் தான் வெல்த், Periya palaces was wealth. He is saying, no, growth or wealth is possible only when everybody individually grows. How will individual person grow? If today his income is this much and next year he's again earning a higher income, it means that he is growing individually. எல்லாரும் அதை நோக்கி தான் போகணும்னு விரும்புவாங்க. Everybody wants to grow in this path of growth. When you allow this, any country which allows individual expression or individual to grow, only then wealth will grow ன்னு சொல்றார். So this was completely critical of what? இது என்ன பண்ணுது? In 1770s he is advocating அன்னைக்குள்ள norm. Everybody was thinking that gold and other properties were wealth. But he is saying, no, that is not. Individual working capacity is wealth. Everybody, when he works hard, when he tries to earn more income, that is what is wealth. Or country wealth is dependent on how well every individual is able to generate income for himself. So it brings a microscopic view of human activity or economic activity, isn't it? என்ன சொல்றாரு? மேல பார்க்காதீங்க சொல்றாரு. The wealth is not about இந்தியாவை கான்கர் பண்றதுல, இல்ல மலேசியாவை கான்கர் பண்றதுலயோ, சைனாவை கான்கர் பண்றதுலயோ வெல்த் இல்ல. England, British-based citizens, if they are, every individual is able to increase his wealth. And if the sum of all wealth of every individual in year 1 is equal to 1,000 rupees. The next year, the wages or the income of all in year 2 is 1,100. This is how wealth has grown. You don't look into gold. இதெல்லாம் பார்க்காதீங்கன்னு சொல்றார். So this was completely critical to the concept of what he spoke of, something called as mercantilism. Mercantile system தப்புன்னு சொல்றார். இப்படி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா countries can never grow if the concept of wealth itself is wrong. So அது வேண்டான்னு சொல்றார். So this is how you should promote wealth in your country. When he is writing this in 1776, is of course a Scottish, which means Britain Union la da irkaru. So British colonial British da on the time la, isn't it? British was colonial, isn't it, at that time? So when British was colonial, he is writing against the very own principles of British, saying what you are doing is wrong. இதே டைம்ல parallelly something happened in the other part of the world, which is USA. USA ல இன்னொன்னு நடக்குது. What is happening in USA? 1775, what happened? 1775, the American War of Independence is taking place, and America is completely independent from USA from Britain. So USA and Britain are arch rivals now. Even though most of the people from Britain have gone to USA is becoming an independent country and is saying, you and I have no part. எந்த அளவுக்குனா, நீ என்ன பண்ணாலும் அதுக்கு ஆப்போசிட்டா பண்ணுவேன்றாங்க USA. நீ பேசுற இங்கிலீஷை கூட தப்பா பேசுவேன் நான், ரைட்? அந்த அளவுக்கு USA was completely having a rivalrous relation with Britain. So there is a work of Adam Smith in Britain who is criticizing British policies or the economic policies of British. இப்போ என்ன பண்ணாங்க USA? அவருக்கு ஆப்போசிட்டா ஒரு எக்கனாமிக் பாலிசி வந்திருக்கு. So we are also opposite to them. So an enemy of an enemy is a friend. அந்த மாதிரி USA said, okay, Adam Smith-ஓட principles. Whatever Adam Smith is saying is completely opposite to what the British is doing. So I am going to do what he is saying. So in the Constitution of USA in 1778, Constitution of USA kulla they incorporated Adam Smith's principles. Adam Smith-ஓட principle என்ன? Free market னு சொல்றார். ஒரு market should be completely free from government's intervention. This became the constitutional aspect. Constitution கண்டிப்பா கவர்மெண்ட் இதுதான் இதுபடிதான் இருக்கணும். தன்னோட economic principles will be based on laissez-faire or the principle of let it be. Let it be ன்னு சொல்றாங்க. So I will not do anything with regards to what is happening. Clear? அப்போ 1778ல தான் his principles, Adam Smith's principles got a laboratory. ஒரு laboratory இது his principles test பண்றதுக்கான laboratory was USA. But USA was the first country to test out his principles. அந்த டைம்ல இருந்து என்ன பண்றாங்கன்னா they began to promote individual enterprise. Individual activity promote பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. Everybody do create wealth as much as possible. Government will not unnecessarily intervene in your business. Slowly, this model began to bring huge amount of profit for the people. When people, all the people together are earning more, wealth of the nation will increase. And that is how America's wealth began to increase. கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா increase ஆச்சு. Beyond a time, there were people who are earning so much of profit, huge number of profit, that they became one of something called as the capitalists. Because when there were many who began to நிறைய காசு சம்பாதிச்சிட்டே இருக்காங்க through legitimate means. They are not doing any illegal business and stuff. Through legitimate business, they are earning money. Because of this money earning business, the money earning enterprise நால increase ஆகிட்டே இருக்கு. எது increase ஆகுது? Wealth increase ஆகிட்டே இருக்கு. So when wealth is increasing, there were some select few of people who had enormous amount of wealth. Wealth மட்டும் இல்ல, wealthன்றது இங்க அசெட்ஸும் நிறைய வைக்க ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. இந்த மாதிரி who had money, who had enough money, who had enough land, who had enough other enterprises. Enterprise means what? Enterprise means the spirit to run a business. People who had all of these three were now called as capitalists because they have the capital to run a business. But there were others who were not enough, who were completely lost out in their competition. நீயும் சம்பாதிக்கிறேன், நானும் சம்பாதிக்கிறேன், but somehow you are more having more advanced principles than me, so I'm losing out of this business, so I cannot make profit, so I will become a laborer. We were capitalists. There were a lot of money, unimaginable amount of money. So இதை வச்சு என்ன பண்றது? நியூவா ஏதாவது ட்ரை பண்ணும். They will be taking risk. Risk taking is what is called as entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship or risk taking business began to increase, and due to this, laborers were also given job by the capitalists, and slowly things began to develop, and this is where a new revolution in the world began, called as industrial revolution. Industrial revolution சொல்லுவாங்க. Industrial revolution கம்ப்ளீட்டா நம்ம ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்த சிஸ்டமே மாறிடுச்சு. ஏன் மாறிச்சுன்னு சொன்னா கேபிட்டலிஸ்ட், ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், you were in your home stitching 4 or 5 garments a day, but this person having a lot of money is now investing in science, investing in technology, investing in other ways, and is saying ஃபுல்லா மெஷினரி வாங்கி போட்டு ஒரு நாளைக்கு 5 எல்லாம் பண்ண வேண்டாம், ஒரு நாளைக்கு 500 ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ் தயாரிக்கலாம். the scale of production is suddenly increasing. ரொம்ப increase ஆன்றப்ப என்ன ஆகும்? When it is further increasing, what will happen? Again, more profits will come. So capitalist wealth is also increasing on the above. But what is happening to the laborer class? See, slowly, America's principles, the America's capitalist principle, capitalist the free markets advocate பண்றவங்க. So free market or capitalism began to influence all around the world. Europe slowly embraced this model, saying நானும் இதே மாதிரி principles follow பண்றேன். That's why industrial revolution also began in UK, Europe, USA இந்த மாதிரி ஏரியாஸ்ல industrial revolution வந்தது. Industrial revolution வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் என்ன ஆச்சுன்னு சொன்னா, there were many, see, nobody is going to say here that one person was doing wrong, one person was doing right. இதெல்லாம் தேவையில்ல. What we need to understand is there was clearly ஏதோ 1770s இருந்து எக்ஸ்பெரிமெண்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். 1850s, nearly 75 years down the line, there was so much of wealth going to only one select set of people. The others were not having the capacity to earn at all. So they were trying to sell what they had. They had nothing with them. They were only selling their labor. இது ஒரு unjust system. The capitalismனால வந்த ஒரு scenario இருக்குல்ல, this is an unjust ன்னு சொல்லி there were many others who were criticizing capitalism around 1850. The most significant of one who goes by the name Karl Marx. We will have the discussion of Karl Marx, எந்த மாதிரியான எக்கனாமிக் சிஸ்டம் ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும்னு சொன்னாரு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு we'll speak about that. Let that be. Right. So இன்னைக்கு we'll just confine it to this Adam Smith's model. So capitalism began to thrive, my dear friends. Capitalism began to thrive in Europe, across all parts of the world. And people now began to think that it is not due to the accumulation of unnecessary things like gold. Assetல இல்ல, அந்த அசெட்னா physical assets இருக்கும்ல. It is not in the physical asset that one can say that the country is rich. A country is rich when its people are working. A country is rich when everybody is given the freedom to do whatever he wants, as long as it is legitimate. This kind of a thought process is what changed the world. For good or bad, we will have the discussions in the coming sessions. So don't worry. We're not just taking moral stands here. We're just saying the facts here. Right. So what choice are we making? So capitalism is about freely making choices and the government not intervening with the choices. Right? So not intervening with the choices is what it is about. So choices, making choices is what economics is about. Economics is about making choices. My dear friends, you are also in a situation where you have made choice. You made a choice that you are going to attend this session. You made a choice that I'm going to write this examination, however hard it might be, however competitive it might be. You've made this decision. You made this choice. But mostly, see, one of the most defining characteristics or very essential aspect of any successful person is responsibility. So responsibility is not just about power or giving authorities, not that. Responsibility is about being aware of one's choices. என் முன்னாடி என்ன சாய்ஸ் இருக்குன்றது நல்லா தெரிஞ்சு எடுத்து சூஸ் பண்றது தான் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி. See, always there is a principle saying that there is a choice, and if you perform that choice, it will certainly lead to a consequence. கண்டிப்பா கான்சிக்வன்ஸ்னு ஒன்று இருக்கும். If you take a choice, it will lead to a consequence. Now, most of us, why 90% of the people fail in whatever they want to do is they are only concerned about the consequences. They want success. They want to pass this examination. என்ன பண்ணணும் இதுக்கு? See, if I need the consequence, this consequence, anything that can lead to this consequence is only one choice. So what is this choice? A choice of being disciplined, a choice of enduring. Now you have to forego or outgo certain kind of luxuries that you have enjoyed in your life. கொஞ்சம் entertainment கட் பண்ணணும், உட்காரணும். When people are saying, I'm going to binge watch certain things on Netflix, I'm going to binge watch certain things on this platform, you have to say, okay, I'm going to binge read NCERT today. So these are certain choices that you are making. So these choices will lead to a consequence, and the consequence is success in the examination. Why many people are failing in this examination is because they want, without trying to change their choices, everybody is just obsessed with the consequence. நான் இப்படி தான் இருப்பேன், I will be lazy, I will not take effort, எனக்கு படிக்க முடியல, but still I want to pass. நடக்காது. It is impossible. So if economics is about the right or the option of what is the right choice, studying about what is the right choice that one has to make in order to increase wealth, today you as a person also need to clearly think this out. What choices are there that I have to make? If I need a consequence where I will be ending up in one of the premier training institutes, I will be getting a rank in UPSC. If this is the consequence that we want, இதை பத்தி திங்க் பண்ணணும்னு அவசியமே கிடையாது. We need not be thinking about the consequence. What we should be focusing on is the choices that we make on an everyday basis. If we do the right choice, if we choose it properly, certainly our consequences will also be perfect and right. So what is the consequence? Consequence is clearing this examination. So the first step, you have made the right choice. You have made the choice that I'm going to write this examination no matter what. And after that, there is a sequence of choices. Every day you have to do. Getting up early, following a timetable, reading it, maintaining a consistency. எவ்வளவு கஷ்டனாலும் பண்ணலாம். Forming a study group. These are choices. In the choices, how consistent we are, we'll surely be able to reach the other side of this choice. So choice and consequence are two ends of a stick. If you choose the right choice, it will definitely lead to the other end called as a good consequence. So today, we have spoken about what economics is about, and I have spoken about the importance of one person's theory, one person's ideology, and how it shaped the world around. And that was Adam Smith's principle and his idea of how capitalism was, how it led to the birth of something called as capitalism. இதுல what changed, என்ன narrative change ஆயிருக்கு means Adam Smith's idea or his economics, his brand of economics says that government should not have any role. பெரிய லெவல்ல பார்க்காதீங்கன்னு சொல்றாரு. He is saying பெருசா பார்க்கணும்னு அவசியம் கிடையாது, எதை பார்த்தா போதும், இண்டிவிஜுவல் லெவல்ல பார்த்தா போதும். Likewise, you also, you need not be thinking, அப்போ UPSC அதை பண்ணணும் இதை பண்ணிடணும். No. Today, 6th standard, first chapter, I have to read properly. Read it. And a microscopic scale, try to set things right. Over individual basis, என்ன பண்ணணும்? If you are setting things right at the individual level, at the lowest block itself, the whole nation will change. இதுதான் நம்மளும் பண்ணணும். In every subject, And every single day, I will be right. I'll be perfect. I'll be trying to do certain things. Of course, it's hard, easier said than done. But we have to know this. For the motivation, not encourage you, I'm saying. If you do this properly, if you are able to see things at the microscopic level, and chinna areas நம்ம செட்ரேட் பண்ணிட்டாலே, the wholesome package called as success in UPSC will come to you. This microscopic understanding is what Adam Smith's biggest contribution is. Look at the micro level, don't look at the macro level, right? So that is why Adam Smith's economy is called as microeconomics. What is it called? Adam Smith and the following economics that came is called as microeconomics. என்ன பார்ப்பாங்க? They will be looking into a firm. ஒரு firm எதெல்லாம் பார்க்கணும் in order to earn profit. ஒரு company என்ன பார்க்கணும்? ஒரு individual என்ன பார்க்கணும்? At what price he has to sell? At what price he has to fix so that he is not losing out? எப்படி accounts பண்ணணும்? How he should manage his finances? So these were the economics that came after Adam Smith. So he promoted microeconomics. Today in the first class itself, I am asking you that you should also try to stick to the idea of promoting micromanagement in yourself. Micromanage things yourself in your own, the study pattern in this whole length of duration. It's going to be an exhaustive one. Really, it's going to be very exhaustive journey for you, but do things at the microscopic level, things will certainly fall into place. I think today, yeah, it's nearly time. So we'll end our discussion. So when we meet again, we will be touching on NCERTs, and we'll be also speaking about other ideologies as well. As we spoke of microeconomics, other kind of economics also, konjam konjama touch panni, gradually we can move. Right? Initially, it will be hard. Initially, economics will seem to be a little bit harder because it's completely unfamiliar for us. But just sit through this session, clearly you'll have a better understanding than before. So, thank you, dear.